Okay. Are you guys ready? um this is the other story um of the dragon and the phoenix. I know you guys are seeming to like my stories. Like stories that I tap into, which is really interesting. I never really thought of myself doing that, but sometimes it just makes it easier, right? To like understand um things that we've been through, things that we're going through, or things that we're going to experience or whatever. And sometimes, yeah, it's awesome to like understand it through a story. So yeah, this is going to be about the dragon and the phoenix. And like I said, when I did the elf one, the elf one really wanted to come out. And I'm actually glad it did, because the dragon and phoenix, it kind of expanded. So originally it was going to be also like about love as well. Um but it was going to be specific. I guess it's still specific to like a certain collective, but before it felt like that collective was smaller. Now it feels like it's more broad. You'll get this, because this story is actually going to connect to one of my earlier videos that I made, about how I don't even I don't remember which one it was, but I feel like I did it a few days ago. It's literally about how women are leading the way. We're leading the way in this like evolution. That doesn't mean we're leaving you men behind. It's always been the case. And to tell you the truth, I'm starting to understand why. It's because women, we were kind of placed in a box to be small, especially in the patriarchy. And like, look, I get you men have your own set of conditioning too. I get it. Trust me. But again, my experiences as a woman, and this is what I also have gone through. And a lot of, and like right now what's happening is like a lot of women are waking up to that. A lot of women are reclaiming ourselves, the lost part of ourselves, the parts of ourselves that our ancestors were never able to express. And so it kind of makes sense why we're waking up first. We're leading the way. Again, that doesn't mean you men are being left behind. It just, like I've mentioned time and time again, it just, there's a majority of women, and it's always been the case. And I'm sure for the healed men, you know this as well. Like the whole healing journey, spirituality, spiritual awakening, there's always been way more women in these rooms than men. It's starting to be a bit more balanced now, but we still need a lot of men to wake up, right? Anyway, so like I said, I I kind of get like this story is basically going to be about that. Like I said, I'm glad I waited, because it kind of expanded. I'm like, okay, cool. So I will begin by saying that I did hear a very similar story to what I'm going to tell, through another YouTuber. If I can find his video, I'll link it below. But he did inspire me, and he kind of went into a different direction with this story. So I don't know, maybe the beginning might be similar to what but it is different. It's tapping into, like I said, how women are helping men awaken and reclaim the lost and hidden parts of themselves, so that we can operate in unity. Um, so, essentially, the feminines are the dragons. And the reason being is because, like, and what I kept picturing with this story is these beautiful, regal dragons that were so feared, so misunderstood. But it's because society knew about their like immense power within. And so they were kind of like kicked off the main parts. They were put in these like lonely islands with caves. And that's where all these dragons have been like hiding and living and not being connected with society and not living the magic that they are, the trueness of that they are. Because see, these dragons, they reveal truth. They are the protectors of the land. They are so deeply connected to Mother Earth that their role has always been to protect, to honor her, to honor themselves. Do you see what I'm saying? These are the lost, hidden parts of us women. We all, ladies, we all have a dragon within us that we've kept hidden, small. Don't get too big. Don't spew your fire everywhere. Because the fire in these dragons were always to not eliminate, well, eliminate, eliminate the bad, the illusions, the distortions, right? It was to illuminate and eliminate these distortions, all these things that were destroying the earth. And like I said, because there was control, you know, around society, they didn't want these dragons to be like running the show, basically, to, be the caretakers of the land. And so they were, um, capturing them and caging them and destroying them. So a lot of them, they had to retreat. They had to go somewhere very, very far away where it was safe, that, that they weren't going to get harmed. And this obviously worked as a benefit for the people that wanted to control, because it was like, okay, great, now we can do our thing. We can create a lot of illusions. We can destroy, we can harm one another, and these dragons are not going to get in our way. This is connecting to when women were silenced, were harmed, were exiled, were belittled. This connects to you, ladies, who hid your dragon, who hid your beautiful, beautiful fire. Your beautiful fire that transforms, that protects, that honors what's right. And so, see, this is this kind of feels like it's happening on a more energetic level than like physical. So again, this is translating back to like what is happening, right? Women are reclaiming themselves, the lost part of themselves. They are awakening that dragon within. They are stepping into their power, stepping into their authenticity, using their fire to clear distortions, to protect what's right, to honor Mother Earth. Because when we honor Mother Earth, we honor ourselves. As within, so without, as above, so below. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. And so these dragons, they're waking up. Oh, they know it's time. And what I was seeing, what I was like coming into is these dragons are starting to fly away from these caves that they have been hiding in. And they're going up in the air. They're starting to see how far they can start to reach out because they know that there's a change. There's a change happening in the mainlands. They can feel it. And they know that it's their time to rise up, to wake up, to remember and to protect Mother Earth, to protect what's right, to restore order. But can't do that without the phoenix, which the phoenix men represents you. And see, the phoenix, it has to obviously go through a metamorphosis. It has to burn in order to remember who he is, to rise up and stand up and join forces with the dragon. But see, what was happening is because these phoenixes weren't rising up, they weren't standing up, they weren't remembering who they were. The dragons had to initiate them. So these dragons, what I was seeing is like they're flying around. They're trying to see how far they can go, right? So that they can still be safe. Because they know that in order to restore this order, they need the phoenix. They need the help of the phoenix. It's a unity in that polarity. And there's a couple of these dragons flying around and they see the phoenix. And they're not being initiated into themselves. Sure, there's a few, but not enough. Not to the amount where the dragons are waking up. Like there's way more dragons waking up than the phoenixes. And the ones that are meant to be in partnership, the ones that are meant to be in union to help to restore order. When these phoenixes would fly off, because obviously they would do their thing, they would live life, right? Whatever phoenix was attracted to whatever dragon and vice versa, because there's a resonance, there's a vibrational match, these dragons, they had to start blazing them with their fire. And this would startle the phoenix. This made the phoenix shocked. And so the phoenix would fall down, burnt, not fully, little bit, because that fire scared the phoenix. It's like these certain phoenixes forgotten their fire, forgotten to face their shadows, to transmute their shadows, to face the darkness within. And so these dragons would go out and start to initiate these phoenixes to remember, to shake them up, to wake them up. And this would happen for a few times. Like this wasn't a one-time thing. And this kind of connects with like how how there are certain people that were called like the tower moments where the catalyst that's essentially what's happening. So these dragons, they knew that they couldn't just do this one time because ultimately the real transformation was with these phoenixes remembering to ignite their own fire. So these dragons were acting in a way to kind of rekindle that fire, to cause a shake up, a wake up, to remember who these phoenixes actually are. So this would happen for a few times. Like they would, fly out in the sky. They would see that phoenix, that particular phoenix again, and again they would set them on fire to kind of help shake them up and wake them up because they needed it. They needed it. They've forgotten who they were. And so over time, what was starting to happen, because these phoenixes would get burnt quite a few times by these dragons, there was a remembering starting to happen. There was an awakening starting to happen within them. And so, one by one, these phoenixes would finally be like, you know what? I'm acting small. I'm not rising up to my truest potential and who I'm supposed to be, because they were scared of that pain. But again, they were like initiated by the dragon quite a few times to kind of be like, see, like activate it. And it was activating something within them. And so slowly, like I said, these phoenixes got into a point of like, I need to look at my stuff. I need to transmute my trauma. I need to transmute my pain and shadows. And these phoenixes would remember who they were, and they would set themselves on fire. They would transmute themselves. And yes, they felt that pain. Yes, they felt that trauma. But in that shadow work is when they started to remember who they were and their highest potential. And these phoenixes who went through this beautiful transformation, because again, like when they first start out, they're not as big as they can be, even if they like to believe it. And they didn't have that many other phoenixes to compare to, so they thought it was normal. But when, you know, they started to see more of these phoenixes actually start to transform and become bigger and become magnificent and become the protectors that they're meant to be, that's when it caused more of that awakening within these phoenixes to remember who they are. And as these phoenixes started to remember and they've went through their own transformation, they they knew they knew that dragon, that what that dragon did was for their highest good. And so when they became transformed, they sought out the dragon. And the dragon knew. Dragon was made of magic. The dragon is just like all knowing. And it knew, it felt the change and the shift within the phoenix. And like, you just see these beautiful dragons flying out, their magnificence, in their beauty, in their full spectrum of who they are. And these phoenixes also are rising and becoming these beautiful, magnificent birds. And you see them both in the sky, and they're merging, they're pairing with the right dragon and the right phoenix. They know who it is, where both their frequencies meet. And they know when they get together, they create even more magic, even more purpose. And they know that coming together restores the balance, the peace, the harmony, calling out the injustice, restoring the injustice on this earthly realm. They know. So that's the story, guys. And that, I do believe, is what's happening. It's happening on an energetic level. It's happening on a soul level. Yes, we have moments where we meet certain people, us women, yes, some men too, but again, for the story's sake, I'm going to keep it like that. Some women are coming into, men's life to shake them up, wake them out of their slumber. Remember who you are, which is why the dragon was always able to see the potential in the phoenixes. But the phoenixes forgot, okay, both of my lights are out, so it is what it is. Plus, I'm ending it pretty much here, but this is why women can see your potential. We can see it, but can you? And this is why a lot of women tend to be catalysts in men's life. Yes, I know that the opposite can happen. I know. But it tends to be women being catalysts in men's lives. Okay? Um and yeah, I believe that this is what's happening. It's funny cuz now that I can, as I told the story, and I didn't even know how the ending was going to go, but like it really is similar to the elf story, truly, which makes sense why both wanted to come out. And like I said, I honored both. You guys wanted to hear this, so I hope you enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this story. Yeah, I did. That is what I believe is happening currently. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And for the healed men, you know what I'm talking about. You know, it doesn't take away from you. You know that women do initiate you to their greatest potential. You know that. It's only the unhealed men that will say no. But that's okay. You guys have your journey to walk on. You'll start seeing other phoenixes rise and you'll wonder, how did this happen? There was a great, great, beautiful, wonderful dragon by their side. Again, guys, you might not know this, but this is happening on an energetic level, on a soul level. It's because the women, these dragons, have been waking up, have been reclaiming themselves. Yes, there's still some dragons that need to, but again, like I'm just speaking to the majority. So, anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this. I actually really enjoyed this story. I knew how it was going to start, but I didn't know how I was going to finish it off, and that just came through me. So, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this. Sending you lots of love, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.